tili tali tili tanta. Pali tuli.
Thanks. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Good Show, episode 46 here at The Good Studio. My name is Semler. We're going to be bringing you the latest in the news from the whole week. Mike is giggling to himself as usual. Bruno is here as well to kick off the show with us. Don't get your hopes up. We're not getting into Dota 2 just yet. Got the general news first. And to my right is James.
Is that your hosting voice?
Yes.
All right, we'll work on that. Why don't you just talk normally? Why don't you just be like, yo, welcome to the show. This is The Good Show. We talk about shit. I'm Semler.
Yeah, okay. Well,
once he turns it
I've
on,
already,
it's
I've already like lost my
game
interest
time.
now. I've already lost my interest because it's like we're so, because at really the beginning of the show now, because of the recent changes that we've made to the equipment here, we don't have any music like we used to have. So getting the show
There's
going,
no hype,
like
Semler.
the
There's no
energy
hype.
going
You
for
can't
the
be
show,
prepared.
it's just not there. And we complain to Trance week after week after week, and it doesn't get fixed.
No music
So,
for you, bro.
what the fuck, man? I need my leak spin. How am I supposed to get into the vibe, the groove?
It's only intro music.
It's not right. We go for a year and a half with it, and then all of a sudden you expect it to just keep going without
You
it.
can borrow my iPod so you can listen.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
All right.
We all sit here with it. Okay.
Okay, are we ready?
Here we go.
Are we ready?
All right, where are we going?
We're going into the general news. Going to kick things off with Twitch. In the general news this week, I've added a media group ad sales team. We have the article here that we can bring up on our screen. So Trance and his amazing production value skills, whatever, he's going to apply those. And we're going to actually see what's on my screen now, which is the Twitch media group page, where they go through all of the beautiful things that Twitch can bring to you if you're looking to market your brand to the youth of today. So, what do you guys think about this?
Isn't it just Twitch setting up the internal sales team?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's
I know. Well, obviously, I'm in the email
Well,
chain, but
It's really sad that it says that.
But- There's multiple pages to this, man.
No, yeah, it
But
goes
go
on
ahead.
and on, but it's pretty much the same thing. I was really sad when it says like, there's a part that says less and less people in the 1834.
Exactly. I had it highlighted here. Trance, come back to my screen.
Watch less and less TV, and they read less and less.
Both
That
online
part is
and
really
print.
Both online and print.
That,
Why aren't we
that
reading?
made
man?
that
I
really bothered
used
me.
to
That
read a lot
paragraph.
I read a
more.
lot more.
I really love.
I
one.
use
Twitch chat.
Yeah.
I read Twitch chat all the time.
See, that's a marketing point right there, which I haven't seen. Well, I mean, it says when you talk about why. I think the best part. Trans going back, just having fun. The best part I think is the last page, which is like why people stream, and that's it's right there. It's there you go. Meet our broadcasters and whatever. I think that's the most interesting part if you're completely new into the streaming scene. If you want to advertise in the new media and you're like used to TV or other graphical media, you go here and you try to understand. And this is the big thing that changed everything about broadcasting, like Twitch on 3D before, and of course all the other ones. I mean, it's nothing new. As James says, it's just them setting the new sales team. But I am not surprised that it's actually going to be big eventually. Because
Well, this isn't actually the sales team page. There's a sales team now where it's like the three people. Well, hold on.
Well,
Yeah,
it
it
is
is.
basically the sales team
Advertise.
page. Their media group is where you come
Here
and
you
you
have-
basically
There you go.
buy advertising.
But we can meet the sales
from
team
them.
now. You know, Jonathan Simpson Bint, Kim Nelson, Andy Swanson, and Christina Grushkin.
Jonathan Simpson Bint, right? I don't know the others, but he is fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah,
Of all the
easy.
people I met when I went over there, I spoke to a lot of people that said they were going to do stuff and didn't do anything.
Kind of like you.
A lot like me. But like people in terms of features. And Jonathan Bint, I was just like talking to him, and I was like, oh shit, this guy's actually smart. And he's really got an amazing background with like one of the original people at IGN and done a lot of cool stuff. So he's like awesome, and he's English as well. So
there we go.
Bias.
I like
We
him
had
a
this
lot
whole
more.
paragraph, and it's actually just because he's a Brit.
No, but like he is really good. But it's a good move for Twitch. They're big enough to now sell their own ad. They don't need like CBSI, and they don't need someone taking in a cut. So hopefully this is just essentially going. It's kind of like how Twitch built out their infrastructure. Instead of just renting it from people, they built it. It has some growing pains, right? We all felt the growing pains, but they're still here as opposed to own 3D, and we're getting better service constantly. So as long as the deals of CPM aren't changing for the viewers, this is a way that Twitch could potentially become more profitable, grow, expand, and therefore offer better services in the future. And maybe better deals depending on the strength of the community's growth. But overall, yeah, it just makes sense. I'm not sure how it's going to affect them short term. Basically, it's like, who are they going to sell to? All that kind of stuff. But it should be okay. I mean, they're not going to do this without knowing what they're doing.
Did you read the whole, like, several pages of
No, I didn't bother. I mean, I've been in the email chains about this.
Did you?
I read it all, but it didn't
Yeah,
really
they just
sink
like-
in. I mean, I don't know if there's something specific.
No, I'm not going to the specifics. Just like overall impressions. Do you think it truthfully represents what Twitch is if you're like an advertiser?
Yeah, I thought I felt pretty realistic to me. Like I didn't feel like they were kind of over exaggerating anything. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I think it's the more interesting part is just like what happened with CBSI. And I mean, I remember right like the day before they announced it, you had people like Gunrun tweeting like the gifts of like falling money and like people dancing in cash, and like CPM didn't skyrocket for the broadcasters. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I mean, they kind of hyped this, but they didn't really hype it. So I mean, I think it's just a good. I mean, a company like Twitch shouldn't have to hype something like a CBSI partnership and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I think it's just a healthy sign that Twitch is going in a good direction.
Much like MLG with their last, last week we're talking about them picking up the exec to handle their own sales team. So it seems to be a trend now that these companies are starting to get stable.
Well, I
enough
mean
where
that's when
they
you
wanna
kind
start
of
taking
look
matters
at
into their
the
own hands.
CBSI thing and say, well, it's natural that Twitch moves away from CBSI, but then when you see MLG also doing it at the same time, then maybe that's more of a red flag. That hey, this is
NASL also had CBSI.
yeah, it's interesting because with NASL, I still like NASL still has GameSpot putting up a whole portal for like the World of Tanks stuff. So I think NASL is still kind of going strong in that partnership. I mean, I don't know.
But yeah, we probably won't hear much about it. It would literally just be a company affair where there's going to be a lot of salespeople just having to work fucking hard to keep that company selling itinerary. And if they fail, then you'll hear about it. If they do great, you won't hear about it. But Emmett, the CEO, will probably get a nice new car.
Yeah. Well, do you think this other piece of news that we have here from Twitch is that they've announced integration with Xbox One? Do you think that's going to get?
I think most people are saying too bad.
Yeah,
Too bad it's not PlayStation 4, guys.
Run console.
Yeah, well, it's been like on console. It's been an ongoing process where game developers have actually started to realize Twitch TV as like people put Twitch TV in the same sentence these days as YouTube. So when that started happening, it was the game developers. The first ones to kind of catch on were little, like Paradox Entertainment, and then there were some companies behind like Call of Duties and stuff, and so it's pretty normal that they would. It's like, why wouldn't you? Yeah, like why the fuck would you not want to take advantage of people being able to stream and a community that can look at your stuff? Because already they just got great advertisement for both Twitch and Xbox One.
They picked the wrong one.
Yeah. There's,
Well, PS4
I mean,
has Ustream, right?
I'm sure they would have loved to have been on both.
PlayStation 4 has Ustream
Yes.
as a streaming service.
It's more like people don't necessarily, these companies, it's quite funny because they don't choose. They're just not well enough. They're not educated well enough on what's available in the market.
Well, I mean,
so
in
there were a lot
theory,
of times,
if Ustream comes to you and is like, we want to put our streaming service in your console, blah, 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 like, I mean, wasn't Ustream like streaming like, Royal Wedding and all these other like concerts and whatnot? So
Ustream did some gaming events as well that actually had higher numbers than Twitch at the time.
They used to be doing E3 and stuff like that,
they
right?
did, they had like 500K or something.
So I mean, in theory, they could actually present better numbers to I mean, I don't know about this, but I don't really see why this has to be exclusive. So I mean, right?
yeah.
Like,
Well,
why? I mean,
it-
it's basically
where-
just an app.
Where's,
Right?
PlayStation? Is it Japanese?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I don't understand why they wouldn't be interested in Twitch because there's a lot of like little young girls that stream there with webcams.
Well,
I mean, surely that's right up their market for PlayStation.
apart from that, it seems like there was inverse. Like we have PS4 now after watching E3, where they still have this focus on gaming. You know, this is what they want their console to be driven towards, is actually games. And then Xbox One is turning into this more of a multimedia box where you can watch TV and browse the web and all sorts
To
of
be
things.
fair, you still have Netflix
And it sounds,
on
but
PS4.
it sounds like Ustream is more fitting to this, just because you're not necessarily
Yeah,
just
yeah.
gaming with it. You have access to all these sorts of
No,
different
but
things.
Ustream
and
is
Twitch
on
just gaming.
PlayStation.
Yeah, I know, but it sounds like the marriage it's like a wrong
reversed.
marriage. It should have been
Yeah.
inversed. Like it would have been a better choice to go with Ustream for Xbox. But.
Either way, it's
Either way,
cool.
yeah.
We can-
And Jonathan Simpson Bint knows Microsoft people really well.
The only interesting thing that I see here is what happens with Twitch. Like, let's say Xbox One is a success and it sells millions and millions of copies.
Which obviously it will.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
of course.
If it's
it will.
a failure,
Like,
we'll sell
no,
millions
no,
too.
People
So.
are saying, we're going to that later. But let's say 5% of the player base decides to stream. Suddenly we have a flooding of content, and let's be realistic, like 99% of the content is bad content. It's just
Yeah, no, I mean, no matter what it is, when you stream like directly from the game, there's like never really a webcam. You don't have the ability usually to like read chat and interact with people. So
Have you seen the demo for it?
no, why the fuck would I watch the demo?
Chat on the side.
Yeah, the
So
chat,
so
yeah.
wait, you have
But
a
you can still,
widescreen
like, you still
TV.
need a keyboard. Or,
Yeah, it's-
What's the picture? It's not in the doc. I was thinking about the same thing.
I'll get it for you.
okay.
I mean, I've just tuned into like
just-
random Call of Duty streams where I know they're streaming from the console, and it just always looks like ass. So I mean, then again, it's random Call of Duty kids, whatnot.
It's not
so.
Xbox
It was
One
a-
though, bro.
It was the same with Paradox Entertainment with Showdown Effect. It's like you could stream it, it was easy, but there was like no webcam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
And
so.
no good way to interact. You might as well just bypass the system and go for the full package of what.
Well, I mean,
people know.
with that, obviously, you're on a PC anyway.
Okay,
so.
here we have it.
This
But-
is why it looks like you can zoom in.
It's not that. Yeah.
Oh, I saw this. Love what
But
the audience chat. Read the
exactly.
chat.
But this was the comment on Reddit was like, I love what they think. This is how we sound. This is what corporate heads think. Killer shorts. Is that a girl?
No, wait, but this is how you.
That a girl.
So this is how you broadcast. Like I'm sitting there. Oh yeah, and broadcast. All right. So,
So you're playing Killer Instinct. Or whatever.
but you can't. Can you plug in your little
The webcam, I don't think so.
webcam stuff?
Well, I mean,
No, I don't think so.
Apparently,
Yeah, you
apparently,
probably should.
word
Apparently you
says
can,
you
yeah.
can.
Word of
so-
God says you can.
You can.
And what about like does Xbox have a like a USB keyboard or something you can plug in to actually? Probably you do.
Type to the chat.
Well, yeah,
you
but
just-
okay.
Yeah,
you probably talk. To
I mean,
the-
I think this is the kind of thing that'll probably take time to develop, no matter what. Like, I mean, and the other thing is like, how much bandwidth does this take? Because the average American household is not like you.
we'll see.
And I think that's the other thing that Twitch can't necessarily do anything about. It's like, how many programmers, how long did it take so many people to get good enough internet to stream? And
yeah. But yeah, we'll see.
so
Let's move
it's
on.
definitely a big step in the right direction. But I mean, I feel like no matter what, anyone who wants to do it the right way will end up getting like a capture card and
Yeah, I mean,
all that.
It's a big step in the right direction for Twitch until YouTube Live decide they're going to do gaming.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then all the companies will just sign with YouTube.
Or maybe they will buy another company that's already doing that, because that's what Google does.
Maybe.
It's like bring the player base in, bring the viewer base in. Pam.
All right, so moving right along, guys.
Moving right
We have
along.
another
Mike.
topic coming up.
Great hosting, man.
We're going to get into the esports. E3 actually happening right now, and the esports buzzword from 2012 has disappeared, and the console wars actually dominate. So this comes back into our conversation, just
This is
Xbox
not-
One and PS4.
Yeah, there's no point
No.
in talking about this. It's like,
No.
yeah. Like
The
last,
only thing that you
Well-
can say is that why PS4 won. I mean,
No,
what's
fuck
the-
that. That's not what this
It's-
show's
it's
about.
not
Whatever.
necessarily
We don't need to go
esports
over
topic.
No,
that.
but it's,
the fact
it's
that
just
they're
a
no longer-
sentence, which is like reusable games. Like you can trade games with your friend. That's.
But
what
I
the
mean,
E3 app.
E3 last year was like MLG at a booth, IPL at a booth.
Mhm.
It's kind of,
Well, IPL
I
is-
think, well, exactly, yeah. I think, I mean, was that just, a dick
the
measuring
fad.
contest,
It's the
right?
fad.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
It was that
they-
everybody was talking about competitive gaming, etc. Now,
Competitive Battlefield.
exactly. Now it's all kind of just faded away, especially with Xbox One and PS4 taking the stage. So regardless, we'll have more
And
news
World
on
of
that.
Tanks is coming
Oh,
to
yeah.
Xbox.
Oh,
so
yeah. That's sick.
Major
Finally.
developments there, man.
Forward to it.
yeah, dude. Oh man, I almost died when I saw that. It was just like the
People
start of it.
applauded as well in the
Oh, I mean, MLG
I
has
kind
a
of
booth.
applauded. I was
By
like,
the
yeah,
by the
get it
way,
off
like
PC.
MLG has a booth, but it's not like the booth they had last time.
No,
Like last
no.
time, it was like game devos, mini tournaments. They bought out a bunch of pros. Like, I think this is like they're being paid to show 2 different titles. Like, yeah. So fuck
Regardless.
off, chat.
Let's go ahead and move on. So DreamHack Summer is actually coming up this weekend, getting back into esports. But DreamHack Summer, Jönköping, 15th through the 18th, is actually going to be the biggest LAN in the world. Again, I'm sure they're going to break records again as far as that's concerned.
You already broke it? Cool.
Yeah, it is the biggest they have ever done, even bigger than the Winters.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, which
Because
is
they've
really
also
impressive.
created this new
Yeah.
LAN area, basically, for all of the esports that we've talked about a little bit with
I was
Hellspawn.
like, you need to get Guinness to give you another. He's got like 4.
The
world
plaques?
records.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck it, I have 4, I need another one. I know, you always need more.
Wait, is he still the record holder?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
he
don't
just-
think
last
anything-
one was
Doesn't stop growing, man.
2007,
Like-
just didn't bother to call,
Yeah.
call them.
Oh, okay.
Like DreamHack could have
Yeah,
more than 4.
Well, when I
Guinness
saw
World
them, I
Records.
thought it was the last one was pretty old, and I said like maybe they were overtaken. But no, they.
Just lazy.
This just can't be
That's
asked.
lazy.
They're like,
Who
we
cares
needed
about
a trophy for
prizes?
another plaque. But StarCraft 2, Dota 2, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, League of Legends, and World of Tanks
World of Tanks.
will all have tournaments. Speaking of World of Tanks.
R.I.P. Quake.
But we're going to go ahead and actually, because we did talk about this quite a bit last week, so we're just going to touch on that, let you guys know that the event is coming up. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the focus sections of the show. But next topic that we have here is actually that the CLG documentary produced by Machinima Verse has been released. Opie's squinching his face up. But the featured website apparently is strikingly similar to Liquid Rising.
You should bring those two up.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
going to
I
go ahead and
mean-
take a look at this real quick.
Because it's really fun. You watched the entire documentary, right? I tried
Yeah.
to watch it with you. I couldn't finish it, but
I mean, if we're going to bring up the website now, this is kind of what we should talk about first, because it's kind of like, well, what the fuck? Because these two things are like...
Can you
Just scroll
actually
down, scroll down.
and stop
Yes.
clicking around?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, there's only so much you can do in terms of like a layout like this, but then when it's this similar, like it even
Yeah,
says,
go up, Sam.
instead of like supporters or donators, they put esports hero on
So-
both of them.
Esport Heroes. Now go
just
to
go to the
Liquid
Liquid
Rising.
Rising one. Esport
Esport
Heroes.
Heroes.
Meet the team.
Yeah.
Pay what you want.
So-
And at the
it's like the
bottom,
same
it's
headers.
like thank you. It's completely...
And just to be clear, while I believe Machinima Versus did all, like, they produced the documentary, this website had nothing to do with them. So, like, if anything, it's kind of like, CLG, what the fuck are you doing?
They'll even give a poster out for both as well.
Yeah, no,
You
it's
scroll
the
down.
exact same promotion,
Yeah, look,
$5.
Go down to the
Like,
poster, the documentary poster. It's
if you donate $5, you get a poster. You have to pay
Yeah, and then
shipping.
go
You
to
get
the
a
other
poster, and
and look for the poster. There it is.
Poster.
$5 or more.
Yeah. So, like, I mean,
Yes.
it's just how do you blatantly copy? I mean, it's the kind of thing where if I was doing a documentary, I'd look like, all right, what have other people done? Oh, Team Liquid's doing something very similar. Let's look at it, take things from it, but maybe not blatantly copy it. Like, I don't know.
Well, I can bring the other angle. Like, I've been working in the software development business for
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
a while. And while you normally don't do that, it often happens that you are time constrained and someone says, you have to launch this site. Right now, we have 1 week. You have no assets whatsoever, no graphic design. You're just a coder in the middle of nowhere being paid maybe $1,000 if you're lucky. And then it's like, release. So what does this panicky guy does? Goes, downloads a whole
That's
site.
like so, like pathetic as an argument. It's just like
No. I'm not saying it's a valid argument. I'm saying it happens. I've seen it happen time after time in web
yeah,
development.
but like even
in
bringing
other
that up
areas.
in this case, it's like it's no excuse, and it's completely. I could never imagine that scenario happening with this. I just think it's just stupid, lazy people.
There's no argument for going stupid late. I mean,
No, I know. I think it's more likely that there's stupid, lazy people
yeah.
than someone stressed with time constraints. Like the option you give,
No,
I
but-
wouldn't even put down as an option in this scenario.
I
It's League
completely
of Legends.
I completely disagree because the option I put is like you're time constrained. You do it because you have to and you resort to whatever. The lazy stupid is someone thinking, oh, no one will watch the Team Liquid's Rising because it's obvious someone will. If you're going to just blatantly copy something out of because you want to, just go to an NHL something completely
All right,
different. Where
I've
people
got
will
it.
not find it.
EG actually secretly owned both Team Liquid and CLG, and EG made both websites. Boom.
Groundbreaking.
Just
Conspiracy
happened.
theory right now. I'm sold.
Yeah, I mean,
Got it.
not really much discussion of on the website, but
I watched a bit of the documentary. I didn't see it all. My current, without seeing it all, you can pretty much not bother with my opinion, but it seemed really shitty. I was pretty bored.
I was bored as well.
Well, Mike, you managed to watch it.
yeah, no, I
What
watched
did
it
you
all.
think
I
of
was,
it?
I found it interesting. I found it very one-sided in terms of like, I mean, I think it kind of had the same problem as Team Liquid's documentary, where it's like it's funded by the team, produced by the team. And so it was just like all you pretty much saw was their manager Kelby get interviewed. Who didn't really make that good of an impression
Who
on
looks
me.
15 years
Yeah,
old.
he was like, okay, he's young, he's doing pretty well, but maybe someone else could do this better. And then you saw Hotshot GG, and then you only saw players who are currently on the team. And so there's this big, the first kind of story is around like, okay, MLG, blah blah blah, and then Saint Vicious was, not doing well, and then it's like, and then we kicked Saint Vicious guys, and then they like never interviewed him, and it's like, fuck, this would be really intriguing if they talked to him afterwards, and then it's like, okay, well, that was really long ago, maybe that was just preliminary, and they didn't have footage, blah blah blah, and then it's like the same thing happened with Voyboy, and then the same thing happened with like every other person who was ever on the team that isn't currently on the team. So I mean, it was. It just left a lot lacking. I think production-wise, it was pretty smooth. I think it told a succinct story, but it was clearly like, this isn't a documentary.
Well,
this is like a promo piece for the
Exactly.
team.
What was the
So-
storyline of the documentary? What was the point they were trying to make through it?
I mean,
Because
it was
if you
kind of
made
like-
a documentary. You're like,
well,
well,
it's
we're
kinda
going
like-
to tell you about something about this team.
when they first made the team, and I guess there weren't really any other professional teams, they were always winning, and then they just kept losing, and so they kept kicking people off the team and putting on more people. So I mean, I don't know. I was
Oh, but they want to
entertained.
portray
and-
themselves like legends and pioneers of a scene
Yeah.
that grew so much, and they were so important at the beginning.
And the other interesting thing, it's like, I mean, I think it's like I could have guessed this, but it's like, Own 3D, they were so tied to Own 3D, so at one part they're telling the sob story about, we did so bad in the Season 2 finals because we were trying to save Own 3D, because Own 3D came to us, and they were like, fuck, we're going to go down, we're not hitting the numbers we need, and so then they like set up shifts where one of them was like always streaming, and like they weren't scrimming at all, they were only streaming, and like, and then, it ended up going under anyway, and
How
so
much money were they owed? OP?
They said six
Six
figures.
figures.
Yeah, they said six figures in the documentary, and I think
If someone owed me 6 figures and like, we're going under, I would be like, we're trying to help you, we really want that money.
Yeah.
I mean, I would at least do a last dish.
yeah, no, I don't.
absolutely.
I mean, well, if
Where
if
is
they
Oleg now, anyway?
on some tropical island, maybe.
Do you know where Oleg is, Opie? Where is he? Why not?
I don't know. People are going to go murder him.
Well, where do you think he is?
I don't know. He's not home right now.
Huh?
He's asleep or something.
No, come on.
He's asleep right now.
He's just at home looking for a job.
Okay.
I heard anyways.
Where's Verton?
No idea. He hasn't been a part of my video for ages.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope, because it's like you look at CLG and it's like now they're with Zubu, where it's like I don't think you can get any like real reporting, and I mean, I imagine they are probably getting their money up front now, but it's kind of like, why wouldn't you just go with like
I
the
enjoy
stable,
Azul so much,
solid
though.
choice, as like you get burned for over $100,000, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go with this company that's like shady as fuck and like clearly run by some guy who's
They're probably
Oh.
still getting paid.
I had a meeting with Hotshot and at long time ago where I was basically just suggesting to him what his team's worth and what if he wanted to come to Twitch, and the whole time I was sat there I was just thinking, holy fuck, it's like talking to a kid. Like he like his imagination in terms of what he thought sponsors would give him money wise was just completely ludicrous. I was just like, if you get a title sponsor, they're going to pay you this. And he was like, what? Why the fuck would we get a title sponsor? We make more than that off our website. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I had the same conversation with the bulldog-looking face guy. What's his name? Oh, you know the
from
one.
CLG.
No, TSM.
TSM
Oh
Reginald.
no, that's
Yeah, Reginald as well.
Oh.
I had a conversation with Reginald, and he was like, I could sell my website for $1 million. And I was like, sell it. I was like,
Time to cash out,
it's
big
like
guy.
TSM is not going to be worth anything in a long period of time. sell it now, get $1 million. He's like, nah. And then he's like, so how much would like a sponsor pay? And I'm like, sponsor would pay this much. She's like, what? And make more than that from like, you know, advertisement and hits. And I'm like, yes. And sell your fucking site. Yeah, it was like talking to, it's really funny because they were literally just, they were like the whole League of Legends, they were just kids. And then a couple of them did a few things, like a couple of websites, and it just went, blew up. And then they didn't know what to do. It was very difficult. Yeah, like I was like, sell to Curse. I was like, why the fuck would you go against Curse long term? Yeah, it was, yeah. I was like, why the fuck would you go against Curse Gaming long term?
Yeah.
Like,
Fighting the good fight. Stay free.
Stick it to the system.
Yeah. Fuck the police,
system.
right?
Fuck the man.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We're going to get into another topic that I'm sure you guys are going to love. Wargaming League NA has kicked off. It's produced by Hero Level, and it has officially launched on June 5th. We're in through the qualifiers now. And I'll go ahead and bring up the website so we can take a quick look at it. But here we have it, splash page. But this is the fad. This is the fad, man. This is the fad. We have the LCS. We have the WCS. We now have this.
click the highlight.
Highlight.
Click
the highlight.
The highlight.
The
Okay,
YouTube-
okay.
Click the highlight.
No, this.
Talk. Here.
There you go. Go full screen.
No, we're gonna get ads.
It's alright. We're playing ads on a Twitch stream. While these ads running at Trans, we should have ran an ad.
Make it Abception. I want to see what is this about.
Right, we got sound because you did mute the ad, but you had sound up. Yeah, okay, cool. Here we go. The highlight from Wargaming League.
Welcome to the garage.
All right.
At the IS-3. The Yosef 3, or IS-3 for short, is a Soviet Tier 8 heavy tank.
Is that clutch?
Designed
Yeah.
in 1944 with over 2,000 vehicles produced by 1946. The IS-3 was
Holy
arguably
shit,
the
it's
most
like
impressive
History
vehicle in
Channel.
service
It is.
After World War II. The bow plates of the IS-3 are positioned at a specific angle, earning the nickname Shuka, which is Russian for pike by its crews. The IS-3 had an
Shuka.
improved armor layout with ricochet-inducing angles and a hemispherical cast turret which became the hallmark of post-World War II Soviet tanks. Hull side skirts were used to decrease the penetration of incoming shells when the tank is positioned diagonally against an opponent. The 122mm BL-9 is the top gun used by the IS-3, which has a high alpha damage compared to similar tanks of the same tier at 390 HP and penetration potential of 225.
Yeah, I'm already a sleep settler. Enough.
I felt like I was watching the History Channel.
Sorry,
I'm
it's
fascinated. I want to learn more now about this tank. What are its capabilities?
All I have to
Kill
say,
death
man,
ratio,
like,
that sort of shit. Like, come on.
I
hear
was.
NASL have openings for people to work on the show. So maybe you could go speak to some of the World of Tanks guys while you're down at DreamHack.
Man.
But basically, yeah. So I watched it with Mike.
Well, I watched it live, man. Let me tell you, I was like, all right, this is starting. I got to see it, and then just like, you know, NASL, they always have their countdown before it starts. So, you know, I did up for a good 5 minutes. I think live on 3 was saying, so I was watching live on 3, and then waiting for World of Tanks to start, and then just when it started, I just fucking sat there and I just like looked at it and I was like, oh my god. Like it's just like what NASL was when I had like flashbacks. Like I had a flash. It was like I was dying. It was like I had a flashback to every different season because NASL went through all these phases.
Yeah.
And there was season 4 when they were finally really doing it. Season 3 was like an upswing. Season 2 was kind of like in
We're
control
in the
left.
middle.
It was Greetorp solo casting. It was like, oh god. And like Kaldor Skyping in from Korea and Grubby coming in from time. And then season 1, which was like,
the
holy moly.
green screen.
But then I was like, this is where we are now with NASL. And
Yeah.
I was just fucking disbelief.
I was. It sent me through depression, like really, because I watched it and I was like, here is a company with a studio with like that can do production and do all this shit. And I'm thinking of the days where I was casting via Winamp, when I was going to shitty events, when the dream was to be able to like imagine a studio show of esports. It was like you couldn't even imagine that happening, right? And then we get to the point where all this, you know, so many people worked constantly throughout, you know, pushing the barriers with no money or little money, and then we see it and we're like, and here comes the end goal. And it looks like, oh, this company wanted to do StarCraft. Oh dear, you couldn't afford that. Just why not be a marketing, you know, like a media house for shitty games that want to just use your production.
So work as a studio essentially, but not so much esports driven is what you're getting at.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it comes back to kind of, I've always seen like, there's marketing a game and then there's esports, and like esports should be something that is kind of naturally there, not
just
driven by a marketing budget, right? So, it is what it is, and I don't know. They seemed quite confident they're going to do some sort of StarCraft material.
I'm sure
again.
Wargaming are paying enough that they can actually
Yeah,
do some StarCraft.
exactly. It's
So
like-
in the end result, they kind of get what they want. But it was painful to watch. It was just, it was incredibly painful. Like, just to watch those personalities on camera have to kind of go through it. I think Clutch actually loved it.
I think Clutch likes it. I felt later on I got to watch Mr. Bitter and Rotterdam cast it, and
Whoa, Mr. Bitter and Rotterdam cast it?
yeah. So and
Wait, didn't Rotterdam
Say that he
play
wasn't.
in a Reddit thing? I'm only gonna do StarCraft.
I forget exactly what Roddy said on Reddit, but it was something. It seemed like that was the gist of it. So I don't think he's doing it to the extent the others are. I mean, I don't know. They've kind of got like 4 StarCraft commentators and Clutch, and they have their new guy with the hat on, who's the OG of World of Tanks, as Greetor called
He
him.
was actually kind of funny. He was nervous. I
liked him. It was endearing.
I did like the setup of the guys they have. Like, they're all very likable guys. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. In more important news, I don't know if you know this, more relevant to esports, I found my old MySpace.
Is that really you?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I found my old MySpace.
Yeah,
I found
I
my old MySpace when I was younger, right? And I got a picture of me kind of like topless, being like, and I'm rocking a CRT monitor. And so I posted it on Twitter. I posted it on Twitter, and I was hoping that chat would spam it just to see how good looking and sexy I am.
Is it chat?
And just take a look. How?
Oh, shit.
Jesus! That's the side profile. Just check out that. I've got the little runway as well. If you look at the little runway, women love that when you've got a little runway. It gets some.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No, wait. I'm rocking the CRT monitor.
CRT, yeah.
Right, and go get the other picture.
There's another one
And
too.
You can look at my V shape. No, Sam, stop clicking the same link. God, you're like all the other girls out there. Look at the V shape. Look at the V
No,
shape.
look
on
at
that
his
back.
face closely and
Oh.
tell me you don't see Clutch's face.
How is that possible? Why would Clutch be on my face?
I don't know. It looks
That's
like
his
Clutch's
corner.
face, man. I see Clutch's face.
Ah, look at that. I even got my belt undone a little bit. I don't know why I did that.
A little bit. It's entirely undone.
Oh, man.
Oh, more pictures.
More pictures, man. More
I tried
pictures.
looking for my hot or not profile because I was going to post some of those pictures because I think I
What was your score, James?
I think I remember scoring a 9.5.
Yeah.
But it was a very flattering picture. But unfortunately, I couldn't find my hot or not pictures from when I was younger.
Jesus,
but-
I don't even.
But how?
Disgraceful.
What are you on about? I'm fucking gorgeous. Like, I'm advertising myself now to chat, and just any girls watching.
Oh man,
He'll
he's
be
gonna
at
be at
DreamHack
DreamHack
Summer this weekend, guys.
Yeah,
just so you
yeah.
know.
No, it's like, this is what you could have 10 years ago.
Yep.
You missed out.
You
That
get
ship has sailed. No, I'm just a drunk.
While we're also talking about Shallow Talks, I guess to close out the World of Tanks discussion, Lorna Lee is basically no longer with NASL,
No.
so we're not going to get to see her dressed up like the Korean girl host of World of Tanks, so that's too
I'm
bad.
more sad
But
about
that's
the fun
really
sites
nice to
going
think
elsewhere.
of.
I prefer to think of that than James's
Yeah, naked.
20-year-old body that has a
Agreed.
face that looks like Clutch.
Another kind of light topic to wrap things up here in the general news is that Intel Extreme Masters are going to either New York or Shanghai, and the community decide.
And they decided.
And I need to log in.
No, yeah. Look at the scores. It's like
Oh, I didn't look at
New
the score.
York.
What is
New
it?
York is
the-
beating Shanghai for like 4-1.
Okay.
Obviously.
Well, the
because
thing
everybody
is-
wants to see ESL go to New York because that's where MLG are based.
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of funny. But I mean, the thing is, okay, the poll's on Facebook, and I don't know, the StarCraft community was talking about it at the time. It's like, well, you don't really have Facebook in China.
No.
So it's a fucking stupid poll.
Yeah, it's-
And I feel like, I mean, I will bet anyone here that they go to both. Like, this is, to me, this is just a, this
Well,
is
makes
just
sense.
a,
This is titillation. They're just fucking
no,
around.
it's just like a lame way to get a bit of hype around your thing. And I mean,
Yeah,
I bet you they're going to both. Like,
Oh, that by the way, that picture of me was before I started working out. You should see.
see now, yeah.
after that. Oof.
It's insane.
I'm eating a frozen pizza every single day.
Yeah, man. There's a reason why one arm is bigger than the other. All right,
Why?
this motion.
Wait,
Rock, paper,
what?
scissors?
Right, what
Rock,
motion?
paper, scissors, yeah. No. We need to put the GIF from last week. There you go.
You masturbate with one hand?
All right.
What do you have?
Counter-Strike Global Offensive. We're just going to lightly pass over this topic because we did talk about it last week in DreamHack, or last week's show. But DreamHack Summer is coming around. We have the invited teams, which we spoke about quite a bit last week. So just going to hover over that actually real quick. If chance, you can just bring over my monitor. But we have the caster lineup that's official now. So Anders Bloom, Lurpus, Risk, Natu, and Karn will be the 5 casters that are going to be actually covering the tournament.
No English natives? That's better.
Pardon me?
No English native.
Why didn't you get on that? Is this CSGO?
We need at least one. No Pansy, no War Clown.
Yeah, no Pansy, but there's other Pansy news actually coming up in a second.
Okay.
But
No
the real thing is that Corey Dunn, who's been doing a lot of the European tournaments, isn't actually here. He's casting BF4 over at E3.
Oh,
there's
so there's a conflict?
Yeah, there was a
Oh,
conflict.
I
Remember,
see.
because we spoke about this last week, like, why no Corey Dunn? And he was like,
We
I
did?
have a big event coming up that is actually going to take precedence over DreamHack. I have to, bow out. And so that's what he turned out doing. He's actually casting the BF4 over at E3.
Yeah, no. I
So-
guess Red Eye is working on
And Red Eyes,
What
he's
is Red Eye
doing something,
doing?
but he's actually, get this, World of Tanks.
Tanks.
He's doing World of Tanks.
Oh.
Red Eye, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's going
When
World of
do
Tanks,
we
man.
do World of Tanks?
Beat the studio wall of tanks.
James, tell us.
Let's actually do that.
I've-
you
I'm
should.
fucking down for that shit.
You down for that?
I have it installed.
No! Full of steam. There we go. Game for full of steam. We're going to World of Tanks.
And we should play it as a group. But we always say we're going to do
We're always
fun
gonna do
stuff,
that.
and then we never do it. So let's just try
We're
not
always
to
doing fun stuff.
Except
James,
does this
how do you
count as
live
fun
it?
stuff? Alright.
All right.
We're not
So yeah, we have the teams. They've been announced. That's fantastic. It's about 300k Swedish on the line. So that kicks off, I believe, Friday or Saturday. Sorry. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the tournament's going to play out. Another tournament that's actually going on right now is the Raid Call EMS 1 Summer, and that's actually the group stages that have started. So we can go ahead and bring those up real quick so we can take a look at those. But you have the main EMS page here. We're in the before final stage, before the penultimate stage. And if we take a look at the groups, Group A is actually kicking off on Monday. So have already kicked off. As Copenhagen Wolves, ESC, Dennis, Vincier, and Sprint Fox have played it out.
It's a pretty cool tournament, the amount of teams that are good in it.
It's pretty much the who's who of Europe. Like, that's kind of just it.
And what's the next news on this? Because they've got ESL have got a commentator now. Is
Exactly.
That where we're going?
That's the other big thing that's coming in, and this is the Pansy news that we were talking about, is that Pansy's actually just been hired onto ESL as a full-time commentator. She's going to be doing CSGO, Firefall, Call of Duty, basically any FPS kind of driven games that ESL bring in. She'll be doing it.
That's that English. chick.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
the commentator at Copenhagen Games.
Yeah.
She also does.
She did the last raid call.
She
you
added
asked.
me
Yeah,
on,
she was at the last Raid Call.
She
Yeah.
added
She's
me
on
on
Rich-
Skype.
Oh.
Sent her some pictures.
Over my sticks.
There's been some wear and tear.
No, she actually just added me and was like, "Hey, if I ever need to ask
My
you
check
anything,
asked Bruno.
can
Sorry.
I?" I was like, "Sure."
But yeah. So Pansy.
So she's doing CS:GO,
Mm-hmm.
Call of Duty, and Firefall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, did
About
you
sums it up.
Firefall as well?
I didn't say Firefall pay.
No, but I haven't seen any show.
Yeah, I don't think they've done any yet.
They're
But
not
I
paying
mean,
yet. I don't think ESL are jumping onto that and supporting it until they pay. You're not
Yeah, we have it
with
here.
the business models of esports.
The last bit?
Yeah, but that's good for her. She's
It is,
seems
but
to
it-
be doing well.
yeah, I mean,
It's
I
also
think
cool that,
like Joe Miller was
And
doing a
World
lot
of
of
Tanks.
EMS, and like
She said
between
she's
that,
World of Tanks as well.
And World of Tanks.
she's-
World
baby.
of tank as well.
Yep.
driving those tanks.
Hardcore.
But yeah, this is definitely it because it's like, yeah, as you said,
I'm
I
doing
mean,
World
Joe
of
is
Tanks.
doing a lot of LoL.
Are you?
Yeah.
Do you know
Red
the
Eye's kind of
podcaster?
everywhere. So they've been
solo
doing the
pass.
CS, but this is really cool that she's going to be brought on.
What's it going to offer?
The last bit that we have here is actually that Absolute Legends have decided to drop their CSGO team. They also dropped their Dota 2 team. We talked about that not too
Yeah.
long ago. But they've dropped their Go team as well. So AL cutting...
No, I think the Dota team left.
Yeah, the Dota
Yeah,
team.
Dota team.
Because it was just like, nah. And it just
Well, I
looks
mean,
like
this
AL are
happened
in.
with like there was a mass exodus from their StarCraft team too, and it was funny because it was like I think we talked about this on the show back then. Everyone's like, "Oh, the Dota team is great over there. Like they're getting great support." Blah 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 blah. And then everyone's StarCraft is kind of like, "Yeah, well, we'll see how." I don't know. Absolute Legends just always seems to kind of not be too organized. So whoever's running it,
Solid.
hopefully they get their shit together.
Yeah.
They should.
Well, apparently that's there was no bad blood between the two parties. It was a mutual agreement, so it wasn't like anybody getting
We
kicked
don't
or
have
whatever.
any money. Do you want to stay and play?
Yeah. Just like,
No? Well, then we come to a mutual agreement. We will
end
pay
this
you,
contract.
and then you don't play.
That's wrapping up our CS news. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's coming up afterwards?
I don't know. I'm not the host. I don't know what's coming up.
All right, League of Legends is actually some of the news that we're going to touch on. We don't have any Quake news, seeing as how Quake Live isn't going to be at Summer. That's kind of the biggest news lately. So no Quake Live tournament at DreamHack Summer. We spoke a little bit about it last week when we had Hellspawn to grill and for James to throw under the truck. But this week we're going to talk briefly about League of Legends, as they do have their DreamHack Summer tournament coming up. They're going to have 8 teams participating in their League of Legends Championship Series. As let's see. So we do have the 4 qualified teams. It's Heimerdinger's Colossi, Mouse Sports, Pride FC, and Mr. Bodie. The other 4 are going to have to qualify through the BYOC. This is kind of the DreamHack thing. There's about 30 grand on the line for them. And in the meantime, throughout this, there's actually going to be the LCS tournaments happening as well. It's kicking off the summer split for the LCS League. So the first actually matches of the Summer League are going to be kicked off at DreamHack Summer. So you'll have the 8 LCS teams if you're into League of Legends. You'll have the 8 LCS teams there competing. And throughout that, they're not going to be overlapping, but throughout that you'll have the DreamHack Summer Championship that'll be unrolling as well. So a lot of League of Legends is going to be happening. They have like something like 1,200 seats. They're building their own viewing area in the actual esports arena. So it's going to be fucking massive. But a lot of League of Legends this weekend in DreamHack. And the other bit of news that we have in League of Legends, actually, and this is something that Opie and I were talking about earlier, is that Edward has left Gambit. So Edward apparently is the biggest supporter in the game, basically, the support role player in the game. And he has actually decided to leave Gambit, and he's joined Curse NA. So this is actually one of the first times, if not the first time, that an EU player is deciding to actually switch continents and go over to the North American scene. So as far as we're concerned, it's really just kind of the momentous moment, as North America have just picked up the best support in the game, pretty much. So, don't know if you guys have anything to add on that. That's really kind of just the news.
I think you said everything I wanted to say.
You know,
Mike,
your LOL segment was kind of better than your CSGO segment, Samuel.
Yeah, what have you been playing lately?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suspicious.
He's had his door closed most of the time, so...
Check my
that
Steam history. Check my
We
Steam.
need to take extreme measures.
Check my Steam history. It's just this actually just popped up today, so it's kind of interesting to see what's been going on with League of Legends, seeing as how it is kind of the biggest game in the world right now. And I did spend most of last night talking with Nunya from Sinners Never Sleep, I think. They're actually over at Inferno Online boot camping. So I think there's like 3 or 4 teams that are actually there right now boot camping for LoL. There is one CS team, North America, Curse NA, that are actually there. NIP kind of come and go, but Curse NA are the only CS team that I saw, and apparently that they know of, that are actually there to boot camp throughout the week. So hopefully that'll help them in the tournament that's coming up this weekend, because they're actually putting the time in here on European servers with European teams. If not, though, the fucking place is like packed with LoL and Han and Dota. Although there were only like 2 Dota players. So Dota, not so big in Sweden yet in the LAN cafes. It was really just Han and LoL everywhere, and then like 3 WoW players and 2 Dota players all the way in the corner, almost as if they were ashamed. They were just kind of like hiding. So this is what we saw from Inferno Online. And as far as I'm concerned, it sounds about right. It's about the right time.
So do you
for
have
a break.
any predictions, you know, for the BYOC section?
For LoL?
Yeah.
No idea.
No.
Come on.
Well, who are you going to predict?
has to
It's
be
gonna
like
BYOC.
There has to be
Is there a
storyline
favorite,
right
maybe?
there somewhere. What's the storyline of the tournament?
Storyline of BYOC is that hopefully we will see a rising star. That's what we
No,
want
no,
to see.
that's every BYOC. I'm talking BYOC.
We want to see somebody
League
that
of
nobody's heard of. They come out of nowhere, destroy the tournament, and take it
Go
all the
there.
way, man. That's what I want to
Legends.
see.
You should be that person.
I should be that person.
You should be that person.
Playing League of
Get
Legends.
4 guys.
You have your own DLC buddy.
Or 4 girls. Because that makes for a more interesting storyline.
It does.
Mm.
Hotel rooms.
Go
shared.
there.
You could be a siren.
Karen, you can see a siren. Enough said.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
very happy to close up the first segment of the show now.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll get into StarCraft 2. So, guys, don't go anywhere.
I'll be going.